Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group as well as the Bradford Group Consulting. And I am a best-selling author, speaker, and I love all things books. I love to learn. I love to be inspired. I love to be entertained through the written word. And I enjoy being on this platform because it gives me the opportunity to not only spotlight books and just the spoken word, but it also gives me the opportunity to spotlight women authors. And today I am excited because I have a very special book that we will be talking from, which is called Do Your Happy Dance, Celebrate the Wonderful You. It is a Peanuts book by renowned Charles M. Schulz, and it has been adapted by Elizabeth Dennis Barton. And I want to just take a little bit of time to talk about the power of simplicity. Because sometimes we think that in order to have our lives shifted or to be influenced by something, it has to be very weighty, that we have to weed through a lot of information. And that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes it's about getting back to basics. And yesterday was Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And it was celebrated in 165 nations and 66, I think 145 nations and 66 universities. And that's pretty exciting to realize that there's actually a day to pause and recognize the contributions that women are making around the world. Here in the US, there are just by the boatloads, for lack of a better choice of words right now, women who are making the decision to do their own thing, to open up their own business, to show up in the world with their unique products and services in order to expand their influence, their reach, and their income for their families. And I believe that when we are able to shift the trajectory of our families, we then influence our communities, our nation, and ultimately the world. And women are really showing up in massive numbers. And it's our responsibility, I believe, those of us who have been in the entrepreneurial ranks for a while. I've been in for, over 30 years, to share some lessons learned, to share some tips and tools and best practices to help individuals coming behind us get there that much faster. And so this book, this little simple read, I want to read the back cover, and it says, "Dream big, try your best, then do your happy dance." And it says, "This is a perfect gift for graduates of all ages and for everyone who needs a little inspiration to work hard, believe in themselves, and put on their dancing shoes." And I want you to just think about the concept of happy dance for a moment. Whether we've seen, that touchdown in football, and that receiver is doing his dance at the in the end zone, or if it's something's happened and your child is doing their dance, or perhaps even you have your happy dance. And this is a point of celebration. It is where we are celebrating our own little personal victory, our own little personal win. It doesn't have to be big, but it's just that feeling of, yeah, I did it. And we all have a little happy dance, believe it or not, in us. And this book is talking to individuals out there, but again, I'm going to slant it a bit to the entrepreneur, that life has its challenges. Being in business has its challenges. There are the ebbs and flows, right? But we can encourage ourselves. We can self-motivate when we pause and we celebrate those small victories, right? When we pause and we are able to celebrate the wins in life, when we can celebrate looking at the glass half full rather than half empty, when we can celebrate the partnerships and friendships that are around us in this entrepreneur journey. And this first part, I'm just going to read a little bit from this book. Again, it's a very, very simple read. And the one thing that I found is we can pick up so many amazing golden nuggets from books like this that will not only benefit us in our business and our day-to-day journey, but it's also something that we can share with our children in teaching them life principles in a way that is fun, in a way that's memorable. And who doesn't love peanuts, right? And Snoopy here doing his little happy dance. I just totally love it. So I'm going to read just a little bit from this book, and then we're going to dissect these messages, because again, this is something that you could read literally in 5 to 10 minutes. But if you pause and you really allow some of these messages to resonate with you, you might be amazed at how you think about some of these things, how you're applying them in your life, and perhaps what you can do to show up in a different, better, more authentic way. So this begins with, it's not always easy or even much fun to see something through till it's finally done. To try your best, to give it your all, to go for that kick, even though you may fall. You may say, good grief, but you never give up. You see a full glass in each half empty cup. You try flying your kite, even if there's no breeze, and it always, always gets stuck in the trees. But you don't lose hope. That's just not your thing. You head off to find more paper and string. So never say never, and you never do. One day that kite might happy dance with you. So let's unpackage that a little bit. We know as entrepreneurs, we have this vision, and we're excited and passionate about that purposeful intention that causes us to wake up each and every day. And we believe that we are going to have a certain level of impact and influence in what we're doing and what we're offering and how we're showing up and serving the world. In fact, Shay Brown always says that selling equals service. So when you're an entrepreneur, believe it or not, you are in a servant role, offering a product, offering a service that is going to help solve a solution, make life easier for the person who's on the other end, your customer. But we know that it's not always easy, right? We know sometimes there's pieces to the entrepreneurial journey, to being in business for yourself, that we just don't like. It totally is not fun at all, because it may be tapping into things that challenge us or may not even be our strength. And when those situations happen, I always challenge my clients and my students who I am mentoring and consulting with, is to ask yourself, does your business have the ability to give that thing that may be kind of painful for you to do to someone else who has a gift in it, who can do it better, who can do it faster, and who can do it with more enthusiasm and excitement? And if not, how can you get excited about this thing that you may not really like to do, that you don't consider fun? And one of the things is keeping that vision ever before you. So this little read that I gave talks about 3 elements. It talks about perseverance, focus, and determination. And perseverance is doing something despite how difficult it may be, right? It's just pressing through. So again, it says going for that kick even though you may fall. And it's saying, okay, I know I'm going to go through this. And as I'm growing, and as my business is evolving, and I'm evolving as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it's a new path, right? When you go someplace you've never been, it's stretching you. And you may not be successful in that first go round. As this story says, you may even fall. But if we look at it in a different way and say, okay, I'm falling forward, right? I'm failing my way. Some people say I'm failing my way into success, meaning that even though I may fall, even though I may make mistakes along the way, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to learn from those mistakes and I'm going to press forward. Why? Because I have focus, right? I know where I'm going. I'm purposeful. I'm intentional. I have focus. So it may not be fun. It may be challenging, but I can persevere because I have focus and I'm going to be determined, right? I'm going to be firm. I'm going to be resolute. I'm going to say, no matter what, I'm going to keeping on. And that's where this part says you may say good grief, but you never give up. And sometimes there's a different strategy to get us to our end goal. It may not be always the strategy we think. But if you're truly wedded to your vision, you're not going to pivot at every sudden hiccup in the road. You're going to say, okay, how can I make this better? If I'm saying I want to go left and I'm clear on that destination, then maybe I need to find another method that's going to get me there. So again, I just want you to think about this concept, and even here where it says you try flying your kite even if there's no breeze. And I look at that as sometimes we have to just keep on keeping on even when the resources may not be there, the support may not be there, but we don't give up. We keep trying. We keep that determined focus that we will eventually achieve. And we don't lose hope. And that's what this is saying. You don't lose hope because it's not your thing. As an entrepreneur, that's one of the things is you don't lose hope. I mentioned in another training that I did, Steve Jobs talked about he felt the biggest differential factor between those that were successful and those who were not as entrepreneurs is their ability to persevere. And then it ends with, and one day that kite might happy dance with you. So keep pressing and knowing that one day, whenever that day is going to come, success will be inevitable, right? You hear me often say, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. I'm going to read this other section, which is here. I don't know if you can see it. This is Snoopy. His Red Baron. It says, it takes something special to aim very high, to keep your eyes set on the hint of blue sky. And only dream big. You know how to soar. And if things start to spiral, that's what parachutes are for. You always look up when life gets you down. You show off your smile instead of your frown. You only know that you have to keep trying and not let your heart be afraid of flying. And then when you're back on safe, solid ground, you're one happy, dancing, proud beagle hound. And as I mentioned before, there are ebbs and flows in our life's businesses. There are challenges. There are risks that we may take. But we don't look at we recognize the risk, right? We recognize the obstacles that may be in our path. But we focus on where we're going. Like it says, your eyes are set on that hint of blue sky. Sometimes everything may be so dark and all you see is a little sliver of hope, a little ray of sunshine. But that is what you're holding on to. Because it's so easy to focus on the negative. It's so easy to focus on, well, what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't work? Or listen to the naysayers or get caught up into our own stinking thinking. But what if it does work, right? What if you start focusing on that little hint of blue sky in your business, that hint of success that's in your business, and you narrow your focus so much that that's all you see is the blue sky. And it says here, you only dream big. See, entrepreneurs have big, audacious goals. They dream just so big that often people around them may get in the way and say, that, I don't know, that just seems a little bit too lofty. You're not going to do that. you're, you're not going to make it work. But even though you may hear these things, you don't let anyone kill your dream. You don't let anyone steal your dream, right? You stay wedded, committed to it, and it stays ever present in your mind, and that's what helps to inspire you and propel you forward. And then it says, if things start to spiral, and I don't want to say if, it's like when, because inevitably something's going to go wrong. There will be some hiccups in the road. And it says that's what parachutes are for. And sometimes we have to know when to cut bait, when we need to shift gears, when we need to deploy a new strategy, when we need to go back to the drawing board and maybe refocus on where we're going. There may be times we have to do that, because if we know that something is spiraling out of control and we don't course correct in a timely enough fashion, it's going to cost us time and resources, right? And those are finite. So we want to make sure that we have those measures in place, those indicators in place that tell us if something is starting to go a little awry, let's pull back, let's check, let's see where we need to go, what we need to do differently in order to rise again, right, in our business. And it says we show off our smile instead of a frown. Yeah, we can get frustrated when things aren't going right. But again, we don't stay there, because if you stay there, there's not going to be anything good. You're causing your mind to be clouded rather than being in a place of inspiration and creativity. And it says here, do not let your heart be afraid of flying. That sometimes when we go to certain levels in our business and we may hit certain walls or challenges and we feel that we've been knocked down, it can be a little scary to get back up and say, okay, I'm going to press again. I'm going to try again. Sometimes, and I found a lot of this happening, especially during the height of the pandemic, that rather than individuals dusting themselves off and understanding what was happening and continue to press toward their dream or their goal, they quickly pivoted and jumped on someone else's dream and were chasing someone else's goal and forgetting theirs, and then wondering why they were not as satisfied as when they were in their own lanes, doing their own thing, being authentic and living their best entrepreneurial life that they could. Now, let's take it over to this second spot here before we closing this one out. And this is really a section of this little book here. And again, some more, again, really simple lessons. But it's about being authentic. It's being you, and it's being okay with being you, whatever that is. And it says, you give the best advice that 5 cents can buy. You climb every peak until you reach the sky. Your hope keeps you going. Hard work gets you there. You see the true beauty of your curly hair. So dance by yourself. Just give it a whirl. Do your bounciest, springiest, happiest twirl. And I want to sit there for a minute, because I know for me, everything, I love this little book. But that was the one piece that just caused me to just sit and reflect, because I love to see people succeed. But where I can love it to a fault is where I pause my momentum because I want to bring others along, or I want people to catch up, right? I really want that. And I had to ask, okay, well, that's good. You want that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But is there something more? Is there something else that's driving that behavior? And sometimes it's very difficult to be true to ourselves. And I had to sit back and say, I know I want this, and that's good. But why can't I want it and still move forward? Whether that person or persons is able to walk with me or run with me. And I had to ask myself, is it because I'm fearing doing it solo? Whatever that might be. And did I have a fear doing it solo? And if so, why? So I sat there and had to again just unpackage some things and really deal with a limiting belief that had me so wedded. And I believe there's power in a team. You know, we can go far by ourselves, but we can go farther together. But there's times when you're bumping your head or you've placed yourself on the sidelines waiting for someone to come along when really it could be an indicator that it's time for the paths to separate. It's time for you to go left and that other person goes straight or right. And and you have to be okay, you have to be comfortable, you have to be free and liberated enough in yourself, in your business to do it alone if that's what it calls for, knowing that at the right time the resources, the partners, the strategic relationships will come. But if you fear moving forward because you want to make sure that everyone that you had starting with you is going to finish with you, you may not be as free in your dance as you think you are. And so that's where for me, I had to just sit there and say, so dance by yourself, just give it a whirl. Do your bounciest, springiest, happiest twirl. And I thought, yeah, this is what I want in my business. And I want these individuals to be with me, but they're not moving at the rate that I want to move. Or there may be other things that are getting in the way where they're not able to commit to the level that I'm committed to. It doesn't make it wrong. It's just they're at a different place in their business or in their lives. And you have to allow grace and say, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to put things on pause and wait until everyone catches up? Or are you going to move on and build momentum and do your happiest dance and just do you and do it well and know that at the right time, the right people, the right resources, the right talents, the right partners will come. So that's what I got out of that. And you may think, you really got all of that out of that little piece? But for me, that's what hit me. And I'm going to read this other last section here. And it says, well, it's really showing. And this is where you can pat yourself on the back. Yes, you made it in. Yes, you made it through. And you did it by being the wonderful you. Again, this is about being the authentic you, being committed to your vision, being committed to your why and your purpose. Take a deep breath and go have a ball and dance your happiest dance of all. Your dance can be dusty or silly or twirly. Your dance can be graceful or cozy or whirly. Your dance can be shy or your dance can be showy. Your dance can move like a robot or be very flowy. There aren't any rules, so jump at the chance. This is your day. This dance is your dance. And this book ends with reminding us that life is happening now. It's not about what happened, what may happen, right? The fear or the regret. It's about the now. And how are you celebrating your business and your journey as an entrepreneur right now? And how are you doing it boldly and authentically? How are you showing up so that you create a mark that's so indelible that you end up creating the impact, the influence, and the income that you want? That you end up being that change agent that the world is waiting to see. So I encourage everyone, if you want, go out and pick up again. It's a little simple, easy read for you as an entrepreneur. I keep this by my computer, and just seeing Snoopy in the morning before I log on, it makes me smile. And it's something that's a great read to share with your children or grandchildren, little lessons. And I wouldn't rush through it, especially if you're wanting this to be impressed upon. the youth, take time and break it down to them. Obviously, it's a good story to go and read, and they like the rhyming of the words, but to go back and help them understand what messages can they pick out of this? What messages can you pick out of this? And how can you apply it to your life so that you can be the best and amazing entrepreneur that you can be? I want to invite you to be a guest on Power of the Pen. We are looking for women authors or books that have been written by men or women that impact the lives of women. They can be fictional, they can be business related, they can be health related, any genre. But again, books that are designed to help inspire and motivate, encourage, and expand women to be their best and brightest self. And all you have to do is send me an email to LaWanna at Bradford Group MTG, LaWanna at Bradford Group MTG. You'll see it below. And you just enter Power of the Pen on the subject line. Again, Power of the Pen on the subject line. And right now, I want to show you, because we're so excited. Barbara and I, in 2023, we are promoting the virtual book launch. And there are many authors out there. You have your books, or maybe you're part of a collaborative book, and you're thinking, wow, well, I've already done a book launch. Well, did you know you can relaunch your book? You can create awareness. You can take this opportunity and now have copy that you can repurpose and use for your book to, again, create awareness, to create impact, to create influence, and ultimately income. And I want to show you this little video that explains the book launch, which will be on e360tv.com, reaching audiences within the US, Canada, and the UK, and there are other countries that are coming on board. But again, it's a great opportunity for you if you want to create more exposure for yourself. And this is a customized platform for you. So it's not that you're sharing your book with other authors. It's your particular book, whether it's, again, a collaboration book and you want to come on. If you're the collaborator, you want to feature other authors, or if you're part of a collaboration book and you just want to be on it, or you have your own independent book. So with that, I'm going to show you this little video that will give you some highlights of what to expect on E360 TV virtual book launch. I am LaWanna Bradford with my partner and best-selling author, as well as I am a best-selling author, Miss Barbara Beckley. How's it going, Barbara?
Going great, Miss LaWanna Bradford. Thank you.
We want to talk about how you can increase your reach with an E360tv.com book launch. Whether you are a current author, you've had a book that you've published, been there, done that, it's okay to resurrect. It's okay to have that re-spotlighting, if you will, of that book. And you do that through a book launch. Or if you are a new author and you know your book is about to be published and you're thinking, how can I have more reach, more impact, more influence, more awareness? Well, you do it with a book launch. If people don't know that you're out there, they're not going to be talking about your book. They're not going to be running to the store buying your book. Right, Barbara?
So true. And I always say, if you're not visible and they don't know where you're at, then they don't know where to find you. They don't know what you're about. They don't know your why, all that stuff. And they don't know how it can help them. So this book launch would be amazing to basically put yourself and say, hey, here I am. Yeah.
And one thing that's exciting about a book launch is Barbara and I, we have a customized platform that gives you up to 2 hours on a TV streaming platform. Again, that's 2 hours of content that you can have up to. So if you don't need 2 hours, maybe you only need an hour, we can work with that too, but it's a minimum of an hour, but up to 2 hours. And the 2 hours work great if you have a collaborative book, right? Because it's a platform, you're doing your launch, but then Barbara and I are interviewing your authors. You're getting people excited about it. You're having your virtual watch parties, having people tune into E360 TV and to all the other virtual platforms. We will be streaming all of the book launches on Facebook as well. So it's a real exciting time. It's a lot of energy, high energy, really promoting, driving people to the books. There will be times where we will have the author and or authors reading little excerpts of their book. We'll talk to you about who your message is for. Barbara, anything you want to add?
And even with that, like you said, you can have those wonderful watch parties. And with that alone, you can really get to people to understand the reason why, get the purpose out there, understand the value of your book. So you give more detail to the audience, and they know who you are, and put yourself out there as an expert, as I always say.
Yes. So where will we be featuring you? On E360 TV, but there is a next tier called Central Live. And this is the platform that we will be spotlighting you around the world so people will know about your book. Again, it could be an existing book and you want to resurrect it, bring some life to it, get the ball rolling again with the messaging and the sales and creating influence so that you can have perhaps even speaking engagements or teaching opportunities. You never know what doors may be open when you have your book launch. So here it is, E360TV.com, Central Live. So we are real excited about that. And we just wanted to come on and give another salute to season 3. Again, if you have a book or you're writing a book or you're part of a collaborative and you want to launch it, you want to create awareness and promotion and take it to the next level, we want to get you on Live Central on E360TV.com. We will work in partnership with you to customize it and to make sure that it is streaming on all of the platforms that you saw on this video. Barbara, do you want to close us out?
I just want to say, fast action takers get to the next level in life. So just think about everything that we have showed you, that we're showing you, that you can create your visibility, your marketing, and just take that action. Say, you know what, this is not just for me, but it's for everyone that you wanted to reach out to within what you've been writing. So that's what I want to leave you with, to just think about.
Thank you so much, Barbara. And we will see you all again soon, and definitely next week at 2 p.m. on E360TV.com for another edition of Power of the Pen, coming at you every Sunday at 2 p.m. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Take care.